I've been pregnant for 3 years, and my husband doesn't find that strange. Every time I bring it up, he laughs. Let's not rush it, he says. God's time is the best. I believed that for the first year. After all, we waited 5 years for this pregnancy. So when I missed my period and the test came back positive, I cried tears of joy, of relief. We told everyone. Church people came. My husband danced like David. 3 months passed, then 6, then 8. The baby didn't come. We went to the hospital. They checked. Your womb is closed, the doctor said, but there's movement in your stomach. Movement? I asked. He looked confused. He printed the scan. There was something there, but not shaped like a baby. Maybe fibroid, he said. Let's keep observing. I looked at my husband. He was calm, too calm. Year 1 passed. I asked if we should do surgery. He refused. Don't let them touch it, he said. It's a divine baby. God is working. People started talking. They said it was spiritual. Some said it was fake pregnancy. Others said it was juju. I stayed inside. I stopped going to church. I stopped answering calls. Only my husband still acted normal. He'd rub my stomach every night and whisper things I couldn't hear. Now is the 3rd year, and last night I finally did something I've been afraid to do. I waited until he slept. I took his old phone from the drawer, the one he thinks I don't know the password to. I opened it. I went straight to the deleted files, and what I saw there, I couldn't sleep, not after what I saw. The screen of the phone was still burned into my memory, the scan image, the name, the date, Ayo-Ola. I don't know who she is. I've never heard the name before. But the scan was clearly from a pregnancy test, not like mine. This one was more complete. It even had the shape of a baby's head, a full head, not movement, not confusion, a real baby. And it wasn't mine. I sat on the edge of the bed, staring at my husband as he snored beside me. Calm, peaceful, like a man who had nothing to hide. But something wasn't right. Something had never been right. Why was that scan in his deleted files? Why didn't he ever tell me? And why was he always so calm, even when I was losing my mind? I stood up, tiptoed to the kitchen, and sat there till morning. No light, just the sound of the wall clock ticking beside me. When the sun came up, I boiled water, took a quick bath, wore jeans and a long shirt to hide the size of my stomach. I didn't wait for him to wake up. I didn't tell him where I was going. I took a bike to the hospital. Not the one we've been going to. The one I saw printed on the corner of that scan. New Hope Women's Clinic, Ogba, Zaid. About 45 minutes from our house. I got there around 9 a.m. It was quiet, clean, looked new. A young nurse at the reception smiled. Good morning, madam. How may we help you? I swallowed. My mouth was dry. Good morning, I said. I'm here to get my file. She nodded and brought out a small register. Name? Ma? I hesitated. I didn't know what I was doing, but something in me said, try it. Ezina, I said slowly. Ezina, Obi Chugu. She checked the book, flipped 2 pages. O, You've been here before now? I nodded. A while ago. She looked up. You came for a scan? I nodded again. My heart was pounding. I was scared she'd ask for ID, but she didn't. Instead, she paused. You're back? We thought. She didn't finish. I leaned forward. You thought what? She stared at me. Sorry, madam, it's just the last time it was serious. We didn't hear from you again. The doctor even said, Can I see my file? I asked quickly. She hesitated, then stood. Wait here. She walked into a room behind the counter. I sat down, shaking inside. My stomach tightened. Not from pregnancy, from fear. What did they think happened to Izing? Did they think she died? What was my husband doing with her scan? The nurse came back 10 minutes later. This time with a doctor. Tall, dark man with glasses, maybe late 40s. He looked surprised to see me. You're Izing? He asked. I nodded slowly. He studied me, then smiled, but it was the kind of smile that hides too much. Welcome back. Please, come with me. I followed him down a quiet corridor. He opened the last door on the right. A small room with a desk, 2 chairs, and a wall fan. I sat. He sat. He opened a file on the desk. I couldn't see the contents, but I saw the label. Izing. Oh, you had a complication, he said gently. A very rare one. I kept quiet. He continued. After the scan, you were advised to do further tests, but you never came back. I stared at him. What kind of complication? He tapped the paper. The scan showed fetal development, but the heartbeat was absent. The womb was reacting, but not as expected. We suspected a molar pregnancy, or possibly something else, but we didn't get to confirm. I blinked. So what happened to me? He gave a strange smile. We didn't hear from you again. We assumed something went wrong. I leaned forward. Did I die? His eyes widened. Sorry? I repeated slowly. Did you think I died? He didn't answer. Just closed the file slowly and said, Why exactly are you here, madam? That was when I stood up. Because I'm not Izing, I said. His face changed. I don't know who she is, but I saw her scan in my husband's phone. I don't know how. I don't know why. But I know you know something, and I swear my voice cracked. I just want the truth. He stood up too, taller than me, calm. I'm sorry, he said. I can't give you information about another patient. She's dead, isn't she? I whispered. You think she died? And my husband, he opened the door. Have a nice day, madam. I walked out. Heart heavy, hands trembling. But as I stepped into the reception, a different nurse touched my arm. Slim girl, maybe in her 20s. She looked nervous. She slipped a folded paper into my hand and walked away. I opened it once I stepped outside. It said, You're not the only one asking. Please don't stop. I didn't go home. I couldn't. I sat under a mango tree near the hospital gate, holding that small folded paper like it was my last hope. You're not the only one asking. Please, don't stop. Who wrote it? The nurse? Another patient? Someone else pretending to be Izing? My whole body was hot, but the air around me felt cold. I was sweating and shivering at the same time. I looked down at my stomach, the same stomach I'd been carrying for 3 whole years. What was really inside me? And who was Izin? I stood up. I didn't want to leave with only questions. I had come this far. I had to find answers. I walked back into the hospital. The receptionist had changed. A different woman now sat behind the desk. "Sorry," I said, keeping my voice low. "I was here earlier. I forgot to ask something." She looked at me. "Your name?" "Ezine," I said again. "Ezine Obichuku." She nodded slowly, like she had heard the name before but wasn't sure where to place it. "I just wanted to know. The last time I came, you said there was a complication. Can you remind me what happened?" She hesitated. I added quickly, "I'm ready now to do the tests, to continue treatment." That changed something. Her face softened. She checked something on the computer. "We have your old file, but..." She looked at me, confused. "You look different," she said. I gave a weak smile. "It's been a hard few years." She nodded. "Yes, the doctor said it was serious. You had a partial molar pregnancy. There was no heartbeat. The fetus wasn't developing normally." I swallowed hard. "So what happened to me?" She looked down. "You were supposed to return. You never did. Then a man came to ask about you a few weeks later." I froze. "What man?" She shrugged. "Tall, dark man. War native. Said he was your husband." I blinked. "And what did you tell him?" She hesitated again, then said, "We told him the truth, that we thought you had passed. Because nobody heard from you again. The number you gave stopped going through." I couldn't breathe. "Did you confirm if I mean, she really died?" The nurse leaned closer. "That's the thing. We didn't get any official report, but your husband's face, when we told him, he didn't even act shocked. He just said, 'Okay,' and left." I leaned on the counter for balance. "No burial? No obituary?" She shook her head. "Nothing. We kept the file open for months. Then the doctor marked it as inactive." I whispered, "So she died, but there was no funeral?" The nurse looked uncomfortable. "We don't know, Ma. Maybe she didn't die. Maybe she just disappeared." I nodded slowly, feeling like I was about to faint. Then I asked, "Is the scan still there? The one I did before?" She hesitated, then stood. "I'll check." She walked away. I sat on the nearest plastic chair. My hands were cold. My lips were dry. Izin Obichuku. She was real. She came here. She had a baby or something like it. And now she was gone. And my husband, he knew. The nurse returned 10 minutes later with a file in her hand. She opened it, pulled out a black and white scan. My heart stopped. I'd seen that image before. It was the same scan I saw on my husband's deleted files. I held the edge of the paper with shaking hands. "Can I make a copy?" The nurse looked around nervously. "It's against the policy. But come tomorrow. I'll try and help you." I stood up slowly. "Thank you." As I turned to leave, I felt something shift in my stomach. A sudden, strange movement, like a ripple. It wasn't the usual flutter I'd grown used to. This one felt different, like whatever was inside had just woken up. I froze in the hallway, held my belly, and for the first time in a long time, I was sure of one thing. Whatever I was carrying, it was never mine. I didn't say a word when I got home. The house was quiet, too quiet. The kind of silence that makes your ears ring. My husband was lying on the sofa, snoring softly, TV remote in his hand, cartoon playing on the screen, nobody watching. I stood at the door and looked at him. He looked harmless, peaceful, but now, every time I looked at him, all I could think about was that scan, that name, that file, Azine. I walked past him, slowly, quietly. My legs were heavy, but I didn't stop. I went straight to the bedroom, locked the door, and sat on the floor. My chest was tight, my mouth dry, my head full. I didn't even take off my shoes. I just sat there, hugging my belly. I felt it again, that movement, like a quiet warning, like whatever was inside me could sense that I knew something now. I whispered to myself, "Don't lose focus." Then I stood up, opened the wardrobe, pulled out everything from the top shelf, old wrappers, wedding photos, birthday cards, useless things I hadn't touched in years. Then I saw them, 2 old envelopes, brown hospital folders. The first one had my name, Ada Ocon. The second one, I already knew what it would say, Azina Obijugu. I froze. My hands started shaking again. I sat on the floor and opened mine first. It had my test results from our visits to the other hospital, the one my husband and I always went to. Nothing strange. Just the same confusing nonsense they'd been telling me for years. Womb closed, movement present, possible fibroid, keep monitoring. Then I opened Ezinye's file. That's when everything changed. The first thing I saw was a scan, the same one I had seen on his phone, the one I just held at New Hope Women's Clinic. But this time, it was attached to more papers, handwritten notes, lab requests, referral letters, dates. All recent. This wasn't old. One note stood out. Patient showing signs of fetal-maternal disconnection. Possible gestational mismatch. Recommend immediate monitoring. Dated 8 months ago, 8 months. But Azine was supposed to be dead 2 years ago. I flipped through the papers again. Every page felt heavier than the last. Then, tucked behind one of the forms, I saw something else. A letter, typed, folded in half, yellow at the edges. I opened it with trembling hands. It was from the same hospital, but this time, it wasn't addressed to Ezine or Ada. It was addressed to Mr. Uchenna Okon, my husband. We regret to inform you that the procedure was incomplete. Subject remains active. We advise complete extraction or relocation. Please do not respond to this message. Destroy after reading. I read it 3 times. My stomach turned. My throat tightened. Incomplete? Subject? What kind of hospital sends a letter like that? And why was it hidden in our bedroom? I shoved everything back into the file. Both files. I needed answers. I needed to confront him. But when I opened the bedroom door, the sofa was empty. He wasn't in the living room. Not in the kitchen. Not in the bathroom. He was gone. Then I noticed something strange. The front door was locked from the inside. He never left the house. But he wasn't in it either. That's when I heard the voice, faint, from the wardrobe I had just emptied. A whisper, a woman's voice, calling my name. Ada, Ada, don't trust him. Ada, don't trust him. I jumped back from the wardrobe like it had teeth. My heart slammed against my chest. My ears buzzed. Who's there? I whispered. No answer. I waited. Silence. But I knew what I heard. It was a woman's voice, soft, tired, and close. I didn't open the wardrobe again. I couldn't. Instead, I grabbed the 2 files and walked out of the room. The house was still quiet. Then I heard water running. The bathroom. I tiptoed closer. My hand tightened around the file. I pushed the door open. There he was, standing by the sink, washing his face, calm, like nothing was wrong, like I hadn't just found a letter telling him to destroy something. Chuka, I said, my voice shaking. He looked up quickly, wiped his face with a towel. You scared me, he said, forcing a smile. You're back. I held the files up. Where were these? His smile disappeared. He didn't answer immediately, just stared at the folders in my hand. You went through my things? He asked softly. I nodded. I had to. He looked down, then sat on the edge of the bathtub like his legs couldn't hold him anymore. I wanted to tell you, he said. I swear I did. I didn't say anything. He ran his hand through his hair, then looked up at me. After the first scan, he began, the doctor called me privately. He said there was a mix-up, something about the files, that yours wasn't the only one, that another patient's records had been attached to yours. As in, I said. He looked surprised. How do you know that name? I didn't answer. He continued. He told me not to tell you, said it would confuse you, that they would fix it, that it was just an internal error, so I kept quiet. I didn't want to stress you more than you already were. I laughed. A dry, angry laugh. Fix it? Chuka, I've been pregnant for 3 years, and you kept waiting for a hospital to fix it, like it's a broken pipe? I was protecting you, he said quickly. You were losing hope. You were breaking down. I thought if I gave it time, if we found a new doctor, something would change. I stared at him. All this time, I thought I was going crazy. All this time, he knew. I trusted you, I said, my voice low. Even when people laughed at me, I told myself, at least my husband believes me. But you didn't. You knew I wasn't carrying a normal baby. You knew this wasn't right. I believed in you, Ada, he said. But I didn't know what to believe anymore. Every test said something different. Every hospital gave us new stories. I didn't want to lose you. I sat on the floor, too weak to stand. My eyes were wet, not from tears, from rage. You already lost me, I said, the day you chose to lie. He opened his mouth to speak, but stopped. Something shifted in the room. A sudden cold breeze. The bathroom window was closed. We both felt it. Then the lights flickered twice. Chuka stood up quickly. What was that? Before I could answer, the light went out completely. Darkness swallowed the house. Then we heard it, a knock at the front door. Slow, loud, measured. Knock, knock, knock. Chuka grabbed my arm. Don't open it! But it was too late.